Hello everybody, and welcome back to Mark Clemens Postcards. Today, as usual, we're going to take a look at what sold on eBay over the past week. And also, we will be taking a look at some more postcards from my personal collection. This time, we're going to look at some gas station postcards, so stick around.
Come on, let's go to work. That's it, Ellie. Shake it off. Let's go. Come on. Got to get to work. We got to sell those postcards. You ready, Lucy? Yeah? Okay. Ready, Ellie? Okay. Let's go in the office.
Alright, so it's time to take a look at what sold on eBay over the past week. That would be August the 4th through August the 10th, 2024. The postcard pups here say hello to you, and they hope you have a good week selling postcards. If we look at our sales for the past week, I'm really happy with this. This is quite an improvement over the past several months. As you can see, we sold $1,474.21 in postcards. That's pretty much double last week, and last week was close to double the week before that. So we've really come a long way. Now, there are some large sales that make up the bulk of this, and that's not typical, so I don't expect this to continue, but nonetheless, we will take this and we will be happy with it. We sold 84 items at an average sale price of $17.55 per card, and that's pretty incredible as well. But as we go through this, you will see the big ticket items that help make this a fantastic week. First up here, we have a postcard of St. Xavier's Academy in Beatty, PA. Beatty, PA is now known as Latrobe, PA, and that is a very local town to me, just a few minutes away. This is a divided back card. It was postally used, but I can't quite make out that date. And you can see this card sold for $7.95. Here we have Kirshner's Novelty Store. This is an interior view in Buffalo, New York. You can see the glass cases lining both sides of the aisle here. It's a really interesting interior view. A divided back card, you can see it's unused, and it's a nice clean condition. That one sold for $7.95 as well. Moving on, here we have an unusual card. This is what I refer to as a trapdoor postcard. You can see here in the center of the card, you have a little flap that, you have a little flap, and there's generally a little keeper tab of some kind. It looks like it may have, no, it's still there. You have a little tab, and when you open this up, you get a series of smaller views of the town in question or the topic in question. Here you can see a few of those. And those all fold up and go into that little compartment there. As I say, I refer to those as trapdoor cards. Maybe somebody else has another term for those. But this is from Bridgewater, Massachusetts. The scene on the front here is the State Normal School. And that would be an undivided back card. It was listed for $9.95, and I took an offer on that of $8.50. Here we have something that's not a postcard, and I do sell a few items that are not postcards, such as trade cards, some miscellaneous paper items that I find interesting. But this is a vinyl sticker advertising Rolling Rock beer. I was at an auction a few years ago that was strictly Rolling Rock items, and I bought up some things there. So I have an interest in Rolling Rock. I collect things from there, and I also sell them, obviously. And so this sticker is something that I have multiple copies of, and it's sold for $4.95. I would say that Rolling Rock was produced by the Latrobe Brewing Company, which, as I just said, Latrobe is very close here, just a few minutes away from us. And unfortunately, a few years back, the company was sold to a much larger beer distributor, and they moved it out of Latrobe. So it was a very popular place. A lot of local people worked there, and we were all sad to see it leave, but we still consider it our brewery, regardless of where it is now. So again, that sticker sold for $4.95, one of my few non-postcard items. Back to postcards. Here we have a view of the Lutheran parsonage in Newry, Pennsylvania. Newry, Pennsylvania is would be in the Altoona, Pennsylvania general area. This is a real photo card. As you can see, it's divided back. It's unused, and the person that bought this also bought several more cards from Newry. Newry is it's a very small town, and it's kind of hard to come across cards from there. And they kind of bought me out of the ones I had. This particular one was listed for $24.95, and I took an offer on that because this person was buying more than one. I took an offer on that of $20. Here is another card from Newry, also to the same buyer. This just says number 4 rocks. So I don't know what that means, but I guess if you were from that area, you would know what that means. But I see some water down here, so this is either a pond or a stream of some kind. And here's a couple of gentlemen standing up here, as you can see them up on the rocks. I hope they did not fall in. Again, undivided back card, unused. And that one sold for the listing price of $9.95. Here we have an interesting card. These are the 6 presidents of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I don't know what to say about this card, other than I thought it was pretty interesting when I came across it. It's an undivided back. It's postally unused, and it sold for its listing price of $9.95. Here we have the Masonic Temple in Kokomo, Indiana. This card is, I believe, a Linenera card. Yes, as you can see, it's postally used in 1949. Got some ink smudges on the back there, but that's not a big deal. And that sold for $5.95. Here we have the approach to the Mississippi River Free Bridge in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. This is obviously a chrome era card. It's postally unused. Pretty clean looking card. That sold for $5.95. Next up, we have the boardwalk from 9th Street in Ocean City, New Jersey. This is a white border card postally used in 1919. This card, I listed it, and it sold practically instantly. So that's always one of those cases where you'll wonder, did I underprice this card, or did I price it just right? I don't know. I guess only the buyer knows. But happy to sell it just the same. Next up, also another card that sold almost instantly. This is Chestnut Street looking west in Sunbury, Pennsylvania. A divided back card. You can see it was postally used in 1917. That card sold for $7.95. Here we have the old slave huts at the Hermitage Plantation in Savannah, Georgia. This is an undivided back card, and I'm pretty sure I had two identical copies of this card, and this is the second one to have sold. It sold for $7.95. Here we have two ladies in vintage swimwear. They are on the beach. Seashore Girls. I believe that was the name of this is a series of cards called the Seashore Girls. I don't think I made that up. And you can see them in the vintage swimwear that was popular in the very early 1900s. I don't know why it was popular. It looks extremely uncomfortable. And imagine going to the beach in the summertime with all that stuff on. I think that would be hot and unbearable and make you not want to go to the beach. But nonetheless, they did. So that card's, let's see, it was postmarked 1910. So even though it appears to have a white border, we'll have to call that a divided back card. And that sold for $5.95. Okay, here we have another one of the new cards that I mentioned a few minutes ago. This is Church Street. I'm not sure if Church Street is running this way or this way, but this is Macintosh's General Store over here on the left, and the church over here on the right. And here we see a little group of, looks like children in the middle of the street, and it's a dirt street, which is always interesting. This card did go to the previous buyer who had already purchased the couple, and because she had made me an offer to buy several, this one was listed for $49.95. This is a real photo, as you can see, divided back, unused. It's a real photo, and I took an offer on this one of $40. Also to that same buyer, again, we're in Newry, Pennsylvania. This is a multi-view card. Here on the top, we have a view on Bedford Street. Again, it's a dirt street. And down below, the Franklin House. I don't know what that was. Sounds like it could have been like an inn. Again, divided back, unused. Multi-view card was listed for $49.95, and I took an offer of $40 on that one. And here we have the last, I believe, view in Newry, PA. This is McMaster Corner. Here we have, again, the Franklin House that we just saw on that previous card over here on the left. And also it says hotel. I guess that would be, yeah, the Franklin House is a hotel. And over here, McMaster's Corner. This card, and it's a real photo, again, divided back, unused, and this one was listed for $99.95, and I took an offer on that of $80. So you can see that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards from Newry, Pennsylvania helped quite a bit to make this a very good week for me. Moving on, we see a postcard in Olcott Beach, New York. This is the steamer Chicora entering the harbor. You can see a little lighthouse over here beside the ship. This is a white border era card postally used in 1916. And that sold for the listing price of $9.95. Excuse me. Here we have the Tionesta restaurant in Tionesta, Pennsylvania. Chrome era card, postally unused. And not a fascinating view, but I think what's interesting in here is you can clearly see the Coca-Cola sign here. And Tionesta is a relatively small town in Pennsylvania. This card sold for the listing price of $6.95. Here we have a early 20th century baseball team. This is a real photo card. It's unused. And don't know the name of this team. Don't know where they were located. And this is a card made me scratch my head a little bit. I'm thinking maybe I underpriced this. The fact that it was unidentified is always a problem with real photo postcards. But this one, just being a baseball team in that very early 20th century dress, I'm thinking maybe I just let this go a little too cheap. I had it listed for $9.95, and I got an offer of $8.50, which I took. But I'm thinking now I might have made a mistake on that one. So if anybody out there has any ideas to where I went wrong, or maybe what I should have asked for this card, I welcome your input. We can all learn something here. So as I say, I might have been a little too hasty on this and a little too generous on my pricing. So if you think I was, please let me know. Moving on, here's another real photo postcard. This one took a little bit of researching for me because this card's hard to read. There's some writing down here, but it's really difficult to read. And it took me a while to kind of put the pieces of this together. This is a stagecoach crossing Mill Creek. It does say Mill Creek here. And you can see the stagecoach is in the water there. And over here it said something I couldn't quite read, something to the effect of the Cronin stage or Cronin's stage. The writing was a little difficult. I don't know if you can see that down there. I wasn't sure exactly what that was saying. Now on the back you can see the postmark here, Aladdin, Washington, postmarked in 1911, and it was mailed to Dawson in Canada. So my assumption was, here it says, please exchange, would like a view of Dawson. So this is an exchange of local views, as you had a lot of back in the early 1900s. It was people's postcards were the early social media. So this person was sending this view to this person in Dawson and asking for a view back. So I assumed it to be local of Aladdin. So I just went with stagecoach crossing Mill Creek in Aladdin, Washington in 1911. And I put that card up for auction. It got one bid and sold for the listing price of $24.95. Next up we have a felt pennant. This is from Warren, Ohio. And we have, as often we see, a little Dutch boy wanting to know there's somebody yet in Warren that wants to see you. And this is an actual felt pennant, not just a printed pennant. And I listed this one for $7.95. It got pretty quick interest, and I took an offer of $7 on that one. It's in very nice, clean condition. Next up, we have the National Bank of Kennett Square in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. This is a divided back era card. It was postally used in 1916. And it sold for the listing price of $7.95. Here we have a view in Eaglesmere, Pennsylvania. This says Eagle eagle's mirror on the mountaintop. This is an undivided back card with a postally used date of 1906. And this card sold for $7.95 as well. A little bit of a line here. This is not on the card. Looks like something got on my scanner lens there. And I didn't notice that, or I would have cleaned that and rescanned it. But apparently didn't bother the buyer. Here we have a view in Mount Gretna, Pennsylvania. This says the Chautauqua Gate to the camp meeting grounds. It's a divided back card. It's unused. And this card was listed. Again, it's a fairly recent listing, just this past week. It was listed for $14.95, and I took an offer of $12.95. And the reason is I had a fellow who was interested, again, in several cards, and so I was trying to work with him a little bit. Here is another card that the same buyer was interested in. This is the narrow gauge engine with the train here and rustic bridge, again in Mount Gretna, Pennsylvania. On a divided back card, unused, nice clean condition. This one I listed for $19.95, and I took an offer of $17.95. Here is probably, this definitely is my biggest sale of the week and my biggest sale in quite some time. You might remember on my recent video where I went on safari for looking for postcards. This was one of the items that I came home with. And if you want to see more about that, this set of cards, please go and you can see that on that video, my postcard safari. But this is a set of 16 real photo postcards, all of the Harriman Shipyard in Bristol, Pennsylvania. These are all unused cards, very nice condition, and I debated when I bought these whether I should sell them as a set or sell them individually. Some people contacted me and said you should keep those together as a set, and I was kind of leaning in that direction. So here we can flip through and see with the views. Here's the workers at the gate. Here's the plate shop. Here's a scene in the yard. Here's a crane at work. Here's another crane in the yard. Here we see the bigger cranes at the gantry itself. Here's some more cranes as they're building a ship. Here you can see the ship taking shape there. Again, some cranes and the ship is further along. This is a series that sort of shows the progression of a ship from start to finish. It's not perfect in that respect, but it does give you a general idea of that process. Here's the ship leaving the slip and being put into the water. Another view of the ship entering the water. Here we see the ship being maneuvered by a tugboat. Here we see the ship at the dock being outfitted, being finished. More work as they finish the ship. Actually, there's two ships you can see in that view. Here we see more work as they're finishing up, and here you can see three ships in this view. And here is the finished product. So a very interesting set of cards. I did decide to sell it as a set, and I listed it for the price you see here, $475. These cards could have well gone for more than that had I sold them individually, but I think it was good to keep them together. And I only got one bid on that, but I'm happy with that nonetheless. And the set of 16 cards sold for $475. So obviously that's a big portion of why this week was so good for me. All right, moving on back to your more normal postcards. Here we have Varconi's Country Inn Restaurant Smorgasbord in Saylorsburg, Pennsylvania. Nice chrome era card. You can see some signage out here, neon sign, restaurant, lunch, dinner. Also cottages. They have cottages there. Chrome era card, unused. And as you already know, I'm very fond of restaurants, so not sure why I decided to sell this one, other than possibly I have it already in my collection. And this one sold for $7.95. Next up, we have a military themed card. This is at Camp Jackson in Columbia, South Carolina. Here we see some soldiers building a road bridge. This is I would call this a white border era card. As you can see, it's unused here. And this card, again, got pretty immediate attention. I had listed it for $7.95, and I got an offer on it from a buyer, and we went back and forth, and he was very persistent about this card. So I finally decided he wants it that badly, he can have it. So I agreed to an offer of $6. Here we have back to Mount Gretna, Pennsylvania for a minute. I believe this also went to the previous buyer who bought a couple of these. This is the post office at Mount Gretna, divided back, unused like the others. This one I listed for $7.95, and I took an offer of $7 on that. So that I believe was 3 cards to the same buyer, all of Mount Gretna. Here we have a view of the dining room at the Illinois State Prison in Joliet, Illinois. An interior view, obviously. And I've had several interior views of prisons that have all sold very quickly. So obviously that's a good topic for somebody out there. This is a white border era card. You can see it was postally used, 1926. And that sold for $5.95. Up next, we have an exaggeration postcard. This is actually a continental size postcard, 6x4. But here we see cattle punching on a jackrabbit. And that's a big jackrabbit. And you can see the cowboy up here saddled up on top of him. Again, what we would refer to as an exaggeration, obviously. Modern era postcard, unused. That sold for $4.95. Next up, we have 2 postcards that went to the same buyer. The first one here is Marching Double Time at the Culver Military Academy in Culver, Indiana. It is a divided back card. It was postally used in 1919. And you can see the cadets marching there in their dress uniforms. And here's the second of those views, again at the Culver Military Academy. This is the Black Horse Troop. And I have, in researching this, I did see a couple other cards of the Black Horse Troop. So obviously that was something that was well known. Again, a divided back card, postally used. Can't quite make out the date on that one, but I would assume it would be similar to the other one we just looked at. And that sold for $7.95. So 2 cards to the same buyer from the Military Academy in Culver, Indiana. Next up, we have a lot of postcards. You have seen these before in my What Sold videos. I sell these pretty frequently. This is a lot of 500 random mix cards, and these lots are just put together from random postcard stock I have, usually cards that I don't take the time to put on eBay individually, but I like to lot them out. This buyer specifically asked for linen era cards, and if you look down in my description here, I offer that if you are interested in a lot or lots of a particular state or topic, please feel free to contact me. I'll do my best to accommodate your request. And this person obviously did read that and said that they would prefer linen era cards, and I have sufficient quantity of stock on hand that I don't think I'll have any problem meeting their request there. So that lot of 500 sold for $119.95. And I think this is the last card we're going to look at today. I wish I could have shown you all 84, but I either would have put you to sleep or I would have put myself to sleep. This is the school park in Hamilton, New Jersey. This is a divided back card. It was postally used in 1916. And this one's a little rough. It shows some corner and edge wear, and it's got some heavy creases, which I try to note anytime. As you can see down here, heavy creases. If there's anything unusual about the card other than your normal wear and tear that a card would have, try to call that out. This one did have some heavy creases, but that did not deter the buyer. It sold, I believe, overnight after I listed it, and it sold for $7.95. So that's it as far as what sold for the past week goes. I hope you enjoyed that, and let's move on to the next thing.
What will we take a look at today? How about some gas stations?
Okay, so we're going to take a look at some gas station postcards. I have to say this is one of my favorite topics. And after you listen to me for a while, you might say, well, Mark, it seems like you have a lot of favorite topics. And that's probably true, but that's just because there's so many cool postcards out there. But let's take a look here and see what we got. Our first card here is of the Hilzmer Brothers filling station in Brethren, Michigan. And you can see, I see one gas pump here in the middle in front of the doors. And I can't quite make out what kind of gasoline that is. The sign's a little too small. I wish I could enlarge these a little bit, but I can't really make them any bigger than what they are here. Yeah, that doesn't help too much. I could zoom in maybe. Let's see what we can do. Oh, well, there we go. I can zoom in, but you can't see the whole thing. I still can't read that, so I don't know what that is. But you can see the gas pump clearly there. And as I said, with the writing there, Hilzmer Brothers Filling Station and Store in Brethren, Michigan. Pretty cool. It's a real photo postcard. It's a little light, maybe slightly overexposed, I would say. Or maybe it's just from age, so it's a little hard to see details in it. But still a cool postcard. Next, we have King Tower in Tama, Iowa. This looks kind of like a truck stop kind of a place. You can see a tractor trailer back here. It's a multi-view. It's a linen card. So there's a lot to take a look at there. You can see up here in the top left, they have a cafe there. And over on the right corner, they have modern heated cabins. And down here is the gas station. You can tell that because it says gas right here, big giant letters. And it says King Tower. I don't know, maybe that refers to this tower on top of the building here. But it's a pretty colorful card. And up here in the middle, it says Tama, the home of Iowa's only Indian reservation. So that's another point of interest. Nice card. Next up, we have the Shady Bend Tourist Haven. That is in Grand Island, Nebraska on Highway 30, which is the Lincoln Highway. So this card would actually fit into two of my collecting interests, gas stations and the Lincoln Highway. Let's zoom in a little bit on this one and see what we can see. Here's a sign for cabins. And here you see one, two, three gas pumps, it looks like, there in the middle. It gets a little grainy as you blow it up. Not a real high quality photo, I guess. And there's some old vintage cars back there in the back. But all in all, a nice card. Here we have the Auto Court. Again, let's see, where was the Auto Court? This is in North Platte, Nebraska. And we're going to enlarge this a little bit. Here you see the station. There's the sign for tires and batteries. A couple gas pumps here. Some other signs out here says Auto Court, 17 cents for gas, it looks like. Some other things, there's a sign over here that says Eat, so obviously there's a little restaurant over there. And it's a, as you can see, it's a multi-view card, so if we zoom in on the bottom, we'll see the same thing, only just from a slightly different angle. Here is the little restaurant we saw. More signage, hamburgers, root beer, sandwiches, soft drinks, and you can get a better view of the front of the station here. But again, that's just called the Auto Court. That's in North Platte, Nebraska. That also, I believe, was a Lennon era card. I should have looked at that closer. Next we have the Nemacolin Inn, and that's in Billsville, Pennsylvania, 15 miles west of Washington, PA on US 40, which is the national highway. If we zoom in on this one a little bit, we can see some more signage. There's the Nemacolin Inn, but that's a Coca-Cola sign up there. And we have a sign for ice cream, restaurant, home cooking. Moving over a little bit, there's three gas pumps. Sign for Quaker State Oil. A pretty nice view. That is a, I don't know what era that was. I think that was a early Chrome era card. Here we have, yes, what do we have? This is the Fountain service station. This is in Kingwood, West Virginia. And we're going to zoom in on that one a little bit so we can see it a little better. It says taxi service there. Beer, sandwiches, ice cream, cold drinks. Here's a gas pump, a Gulf gas pump over here. Another gas pump I can't quite read. Over here, some more gas pumps. And you can see here the difference. These are a little older style pumps over here, while these are a little bit modern. Those over there had globes on top. These pumps don't have that. There's another one over here that does have a globe. So kind of a mix of older and newer pumps. It says Sunoco up here. Looks like a sign for a telephone. Looks like maybe a thermometer on this pole here. So lots of things to see there in Kingwood, West Virginia. That is a again, I would say that's an early Chrome. The car looks a little too new to be white border. So I would say an early Chrome. Next, we have clearly a Chrome card. This is the Silver Peaks Cafe in Mancos, Colorado. And let's zoom in on that one a little bit, see what we can see. Well, right, without even zooming in, we can see Conoco up here clearly in a couple places on the pole here, on this light, or on top of the building, and on top of the building over here as well. Zooming in a little bit, we see Silver Peaks Cafe over here, and we see what look to be 60s era automobiles. So it's a cafe and a service station. Next up, we have the Virginia Dale Filling Station in Colorado. It doesn't I give a town, I guess, unless the town happens to be Virginia Dale, Colorado, I guess. A nice real photo. This is a Sanborn photo for those of you who collect certain photographers. Sanborn is a photographer who's well collected. I've seen a lot of his real photo postcards. Let's zoom in on that one. Obviously, we can see a Texaco sign there. There's the gas pumps, couple pumps. Virginia Dale, Colorado, above the door, post office and store. So yes, I guess that is the name of the town, Virginia Dale. And there's a nice Coca-Cola sign there on the side of the building. Again, a very attractive roadside card. Next we have Keys Motor. Let's see, Keys Motor Court. This is in Buffalo, Wyoming. This, again, I would say is a, this could be white border, but it looks, again, maybe like an early chrome. Zooming in on it a little bit, you see the gas pumps there. I see a star, so this, yes, and there's a fire hat. So these are Texaco pumps. Not sure about the ones in the middle. Again, it wasn't unusual for a gas station to carry multiple brands of gasoline. You wouldn't see that today, of course, but back in those days, you could do that, apparently. This card's got some visible creasing to it, but it doesn't really affect the view, mostly around the edges there. But a nice example of a more modern style of a gas station. Here we have Vogel's service station, and I'm unsure of the location of this card. I have been told that this is somewhere in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. I have not been able to verify that. I actually have several views of this same station from slightly different angles. This one is obviously during a flood, as you can see there. Let me zoom in just a little bit. If we look at the pumps, we see somebody in a motorboat. I don't know that they're stopped there to fill up, but they are passing through, and he's rowing it, a rowboat. Here we see a Coca-Cola sign. So, unfortunately, at the moment, this station is partially underwater, which to me makes this a very interesting card. Don't see a lot of gas stations underwater, so interesting view. If anybody out there has any idea where this station was located, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know exactly where that is. Next up, we have Byers Golf Station and Lunch in Stockton Springs, Maine. This is a real photo card, judging from the automobiles. Looks like 40s era. Could be late 30s, but I would say we're in kind of in the middle of the 40s there. Zoom in a little bit. See the golf sign there above the door, Golf Flex. Over here we have a couple pumps. Here's a sign also, it said and lunch, so here's your sign for that. breakfast sandwiches, lobster rolls, homemade pies, hamburgers, hot dogs, soft drinks, and Hancock County ice cream. So, looks like they've got everything you need there. Good place to stop in. Next up, we have the IXL Tire and Supply Company in Allentown, Pennsylvania. You can see here a couple orange gas pumps. And if we zoom in a little bit, we can read a little bit more. They sell Firestone tires. We can see that in the window. They batteries charged and repaired. We have tires and tubes, some other things I can't quite read, and you can see inside this door some automobiles actually inside there. It says established 1913. So that looks like kind of an all-around business when it comes to your automobiles. They've got everything you need there, and they can take care of you. This is a nice, clean, white border postcard. Next up, this is probably a late Lennon era card. This says happy motoring begins at Carlson's Esso station at the intersection of Route 130 and 42 miles from Pennsville Ferry. Complete lubrication and tune-up. Deepwater, New Jersey. So, I guess the town it's in is called Deepwater, New Jersey, and it's close to Pennsville Ferry, New Jersey. Clearly, you can see the large Esso signs here. Couple gas pumps over here to the left. 1, 2, 3, I see. Here's an older vehicle here. Doors are open, must be open for business. Can't see anybody around. A little dark in there, but I assume it's work. It's work as usual in there. As I said, it doesn't have a linen texture, but it does have a soft texture, I would say. And again, judging from the car, this is a late linen, maybe early Chrome era card. As I've said before, Chrome era cards aren't always chrome. Linen era cards aren't always linen. And so sometimes you have cards that are kind of caught in between different eras, or cards that just they didn't bother to follow the normal style of postcard printing for that era and chose a different route. Next up, we have Lime Hill One-Stop Super Service. This is a little bit distant, so let's zoom in a little closer. Over here we see the service station area. Got a sign out there for air. That's probably when air used to be free. Now serving lunch. Sunoco on the building there. And moving up a little bit to the next building, you see the old car park there, couple gas pumps. You see lunch, souvenirs, ice cream. And this says Mountain View Inn. I can't quite read what that says. Let's see if we can get it closer. Mountain View Inn looks like it says cabins and restaurant. Okay. Again, I'm unsure of the location of this card. When I got this card, it was labeled as being in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, here, which is my hometown, which is why I was interested in it. And I purchased it, even though I don't recognize this scene, and no one I've talked to remembers this service station. But seeing the sign here, Mountain View, there was a famous inn and a restaurant in Greensburg called Mountain View, and the area it was in was called the Mountain View area. So this could actually be from that area. So I'm going to have to look into that a little bit further. So for now, I'm going to say this is a Greensburg, PA card, and it's a nice real photo. And see, I've learned something doing this here today. It makes me want to look into that one a little bit closer. Next up, we have William F. Tiffany and Sons Filling Station and Showroom. So I'm going to assume they sell automobiles. That's what the showroom is for. And this is in Dellenson, New York. Again, we're going to need to zoom in to see what's going on here. Here we see the service station. Here's a pump over here to the side. Here's 2 pumps in the front. We have a Saucony sign, a Mobil Oil sign. Looking over here to the right a little bit. Let's zoom in a little bit more. It says service station. Here we have a Firestone sign. Looks like another gas pump there. So all of these buildings apparently go together. And that is also a real photo postcard. I don't have the back here. I could give you more date. I'm going to guess this is probably a divided back to white in the white border era. Here we have, I don't know, I couldn't find a name of the station on here. It just says Main Street in Fort Anne, New York. So we'll call it the Main Street service station. And we'll zoom in a little bit. We see Mobil gas pumps, 2 of those, a Saucony pump there. And above the door we have Mobil lubrication certified, Saucony vacuum, an old car there. There we have the gentleman who no doubt runs the station there, and that could be his daughter. Here we see, here's some neat oil bottles. Are those bottles? Yeah, it looks like the old style glass bottles in carriers there. Got 5 of them lined up. A very collectible thing for gas and oil collectors these days. There's a Saucony sign. And we got a couple more pumps over on this side. Here's a large Saucony sign. And we have the Pegasus there on there. I think Ellie just knocked something over behind me. So pretty neat view. Obviously real photo. Looks like in the 20s to 30s era. And that was in Fort Anne, New York. Next up, we have, again, the gas station doesn't have a name, but it's connected to this building which says Parker's Store. So I'm going to call it Parker's Store and Filling Station or Service Station, whatever you prefer. Here you see the store. They have dry goods, shoes, coats, dresses, and clothing. You can see that in the window. And then moving over this way, here's the gas station part. You see the pumps there. Large Texaco sign. Texaco pump. Another pump here. And then there's an older automobile parked over there. Pretty cool view. That is at the corner of West and North Main Street in New Berlin, New York. Another real photo card. Looks more probably into the 40s era, I would say. Next up, we have a Gulf station. It doesn't tell us a whole lot on the front, but this is a Gulf station in Bryan, Ohio. It doesn't give a name of the station. It just says Bryan, Ohio, and it says it is one of several fine service stations you will find in the town of Bryan, Ohio. Zooming in a little bit, we see a Coca-Cola sign over here. We see a sign for Bus Depot in the window, some cans of oil stacked up over here. Here's a couple smiling gentlemen who will take care of you when you pull in with your automobile. They will fill it up for you. See the golf pumps there, golf sign, golf oil cans over here. Looks like, again, judging from the printing on the back, I would say this is, although it's not a chrome finish on the card, I would say this is a chrome era card, and it is, this style of building is kind of typical of golf stations for that period. I've seen a lot of examples of this same basic building design. Moving on, we do have an actual chrome postcard. Let's see. This is the Night and Day Cafe in Columbus, Nebraska. And we're going to zoom in on that a little bit. You can see there, Night and Day Cafe. Couple old vehicles parked there. Moving over this way, we see a row of gas pumps here. This is Phillips 66. This is an old station wagon gassing up. And that's that. Clearly a chrome era card. Nice example. Here we have Bud and Roy's place on Highway 66. The famous Route 66. This is 6 miles east of St. Clair, Missouri. And you can see the sign there up on the top. It says Oak Grove Cafe. Got your gas pumps here in front. There's the Texaco Star again. We've seen that a few times. Up here it says Oak Grove Park, hot lunches, nice Coca-Cola sign. In the center, Coca-Cola bottle signs on each end. A really nice real photo card there. Let's see what else we got. Something hiding behind me here. Last up, yeah, this is our last card for today. This is the Gateway service station or gas station in Nevis, Minnesota. We're going to zoom in on this. There we see the attendant. Got a couple old cars there. Look like 30s era automobiles at the pumps. You can see the pumps here. This is one of those, well, what do they call it? Visible pump, where you can see the amount of gas you're getting, and you can see as it drains out that you got what you paid for. Over here is a big sign that says fishing tackle, and as we move towards the building, we see up there it looks like Skelly, and we see U.S. Tires. See 1, 2, 3 of those signs. AAA sign over the door. Here we see a sign for taxidermy. There's a Coca-Cola sign, another Coca-Cola sign, another U.S. Tire sign, another sign for fishing tackle and Skelly. Lots of nice signage on that building. That would be a sign, Collector's Paradise there. And just really a nice view, a nice example of a 30s era service station. So that's all of the gas stations I picked out for today, but I've got a lot more where that came from. So in a future video, we'll take a look at some more. That's all I have for you for today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please give me a like. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, would you please do that? That helps me to reach even more people who are interested in postcards. And if you have any comments, please leave those as well. Love to hear from you. Love to hear what you think of my videos or what I could do differently or add or change or subtract or whatever. Please feel free to comment. And as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.